Most of our communication happens without ever saying a word. However, most men have no idea how to use body language to their full advantage. So today I created a list on the 7 body language tricks that all men must know. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to position your body so that you exude confidence, command respect, enhance every interaction, and become more attractive. Starting off with number 1. You want to have a firm handshake. Honestly, I feel like this is like a rite of passage to becoming a man. Most teenage boys are taught that you should not have a weak, feminine, girly, soft handshake. It's just a masculine thing to do. And trust me, you're gonna shake a lot of hands within your life. So you need to make sure that you get a full grip. And in some cases, people use this as a dominance thing, a power thing. And I'll tell a quick story about this. I remember meeting one of my ex-girlfriend's dads, and when we first met, the first thing I noticed about him was how strong his handshake was. And I thought it was to exude his power and dominance and authority above me. In some cases, it probably was. However, I've always noticed the most masculine men tend to have a very, very firm handshake. Now, you don't want to death grip it like crazy. More so, you want to match the other person's strength and grip on the handshake. And you can really do that in a nanosecond. You can immediately feel how aggressive or how soft somebody's handshake is. You'll also tend to notice if you ever shake a woman's hand, they tend to do it very light, very soft, because that's more of a feminine thing to do. Also, another pro tip is that whenever you do shake somebody's hand, never do it sitting down. This is just a thing that all you guys should know, all you guys should do. Always shake somebody's hand standing up, especially if you're meeting them for the first time. And to top it all off, make sure that you hold eye contact as you're doing it. Now, speaking of eye contact, that is the next body language hack that most guys don't realize is very, very important, because it directly shows your confidence with the person that you're dealing with women, with men, even if you're public speaking. Back when I was public speaking a lot in college, one critique that I got, a positive critique, was the fact that I always made eye contact with the audience versus some people, they're looking down at their paper, looking at the board. So eye contact doesn't only go for interpersonal relationships, but literally in all aspects of the things you're doing and who you're communicating with. Now, trust me, I know eye contact can be a little intimidating, especially if you're not used to it. So if you do have trouble maintaining eye contact, try and look at in between the person's eyeballs. That way you're still making eye contact, but you're not necessarily looking in their eyes, and they really can't tell that you're looking in between their eyes. Now, here's the thing with eye contact too, is that it's more important whenever you're listening, more so than speaking. Yes, when you're speaking, as I'm doing now to you guys, I'm maintaining eye contact, but it doesn't hurt to look away every now and then to collect your thoughts or to think of something. You don't really just want to be staring and just speaking like the whole time. It's okay to look away. However, if you're the listener, if you're hearing something, this is where it's even more important to show that you're attentive and that you're paying attention to what they're saying. Up next is facial expressions. Imagine if I talk like this in an angry way, even though I'm making eye contact, even though I'm kind of looking away too, but like, it doesn't hit the same if I had like a warm, slight smile, if you showed a little bit of teeth. And sometimes this can be a little bit of genetics. Some people are like top teeth speakers versus other people are bottom teeth speakers. We're not gonna dive into that rabbit hole, but the point is you need to manage your facial expressions and just make sure that you look approachable. We don't wanna be overly smiley and goofy and looking like a class clown. We wanna be approachable. We don't wanna have that rest and bitch face, as some people call it. And this might be something that you mentally have to tell yourself if you want to improve and get better at it. Now, let's say you're in a conversation. Another way you can show positive body language is just by reaffirming that you're understanding to what they're saying. People tend to naturally do this, but sometimes people don't, and they have to force it. But the way you do this is just simply by nodding, either in agreement, or sometimes what I love to do is throw girls off sometimes, especially on dates, is that I'll just be very light with it, or roll my chin like this with a slight smirk, something like that. Imagine if you're just listening like that. You look like a psycho serial killer, all right? So show that you're actually listening, but don't be like overly, yeah, really good, nice. Right, that's too much. And I've had conversations with people who like overly actively listen, and they're showing that through their body language, and it gets really weird. So you need to find a balance. Number 4 is that you need to use open body language. Open body language, I feel like, will make the biggest difference in terms of all these body language hacks, is because this directly shows what you're communicating to the world without you actually communicating nothing at all. So when I talk about open body language, all I mean is keeping your chest open, not being closed off like this, which I still tend to naturally do, and I have to force and tell myself like, hey, open body language. Because whenever we go to closed body language, What this represents is that you're nervous, you're uncomfortable in your environment, and you probably don't want to be there. It shows a lack of confidence. So all open body language, it shows that you're comfortable, it shows that you are confident, it shows that you're where you want to be and where you need to be, and that just exudes a lot of attractiveness. All right, confidence and attractiveness are directly correlated, and a lot of that will be shown through your body language. So whenever you're out waiting or even talking to somebody, ask yourself mentally, like, do I have open body language right now? Or am I closed off? Do I look like a hermit? Do I look like a unconfident wallflower? That's what we don't want. Now let's talk about walking. Something we do every day, something you learned to do when you were probably 1 to 2 years old. For me, I was kind of a late bloomer, but you guys probably learned earlier than me, and you've been doing it for 20 plus years. With that being said, you must walk confidently once again. So the first way we do this is by exuding open body language, as we talked about. And we do this by not being closed off, not having our hands in our pocket, not with our face down as we're walking, looking like somebody just broke up with us. Even if that is true, you shouldn't be walking like that. What we want to do is actually showcase a little bit of swag, a little bit of confidence. And the way men do this specifically is by having a little bit of sway in the shoulders. It's so slight, it's so subtle, but it directly correlates to how a woman sways their hips. Guys, I've been with women and I met women and I've told them this. I'm like, yo, I just love the way you walk. Like, I don't know what it is, but I love the way you walk. Like, please just walk ahead of me. And it wasn't necessarily that they had the cakes, though they probably did. It's more so they had this slight hip movement that just did something for me. And so whether it be female or male, we're actually attracted to the similar things, but just in different ways depending on gender. So for us men, instead of the hips, it's gonna be more so from the shoulder. Having a little bit of sway in the shoulders, not this way. You're not doing a little jig, it's this way. A little bit forward, a little bit of back. And the broader your shoulders, the more natural this is gonna come off. But if you do have more shorter shoulders, the number one, get in the gym. And number two, you might have to be a little bit intentional with it. Now, another thing about walking is that you wanna slow down your pace. You wanna take wider, larger strides and slow down, because whenever you tend to take slower movements, this actually makes you look more confident too. And it is overall just a positive body language cue. If you take short strides, you're fidgety, you're bouncing around everywhere, don't do that. Like, slow it down, bro. Take a chill pill. Take slow walks. You're not rushing anywhere, even though we all should be walking with somewhat of a purpose. You don't have to necessarily rush and be super fidgety. Just slow it down, take those wider strides, and show the open body language. Keep that chin up, and do not look on your phone as you're walking. Especially. If you're enjoying this content, you're gonna be mind blown by my Patreon. As a supporter, you'll get access to now over 100 videos of in-depth dating insights, valuable self-improvement tips, and juicy uncut content you won't find anywhere else. And no, you won't break the bank. You're gonna get access to everything for the literal price of a sandwich. This is a great way to support me and my work so that I can keep creating high quality content for you. I'm engaging with my Patreon community and posting new videos every single week. So if you want more value and exclusive access, head over to my Patreon page. I'll leave a link down below. Now, back to the video. Body language hack number 6, this is standing. How should you stand? It's weird, like, how can you teach somebody how to stand? But it's actually fairly easy. What we wanna do, once again, is just showcase more open body language as we stand, keep our chin up, scan the room, and be confident about doing it. And then also we wanna make sure that our feet are shoulder width apart. Simple as that, that's gonna come off the most attractive. You don't have to overthink this. When I'm standing, also what I like to do is just simply embrace boredom, which means that I don't like to be like on my phone, having to always be stimulated. More so, I scan my environment, see where I'm at. Even if I'm waiting in a line, I've now practiced to be okay with not being stimulated and to showcase my confident open body language and making even some head nods with people as they go by. Trust me, it will make all the difference. Body language number 7 is good seated posture. So what you wanna make sure you do is keep your feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Ideally, you don't wanna cross your legs. This tends to come off more feminine, unless you're a multi-millionaire, old money, old white guy, then they can get away with it. However, if you're a younger guy, if you're in your 20s, 30s, even some of you guys in your 40s, it's just gonna come out best if you keep the feet flat on the ground and not cross your legs. Also, with the top half of your torso, make sure you're standing up tall, you're not slouched over, shoulders down and back, roll back, and once again, keeping that chin up. So it's pretty much like we're standing, we're just doing it in the seated version. Now, even though these body language tips will help, there's something even more important that all you guys should do and implement when it comes to body language, and that is being able to read it. Being able to understand other people's body language so that you can use that to your advantage. Whenever you're talking, for example, with a girl, is she nervous? Is she confident? Whenever you're speaking with somebody else, are they nervous? Are they confident? You can use these body language cues to really just read the room and read how other people are interacting with each other or even interacting with you. Because as I said in the intro, most of our communication is through just non-verbal cues, and being able to read body language in real time is literally a superpower. If you want more tips on how to look attractive without even saying a word, then definitely be sure to watch this video next, or I give you some cues on how you can start attracting more women without ever opening your mouth. So watch that one next.